Moksh Story 6. Perfect relief from earthly chains and the burden of death. How did the Mukti-data break the chains of the eternal cycle of death and rebirth? Sadguru Yeshu performed many amazing miracles. The Yeshu Granth says that if they were all written down, there wouldn't be room for all the books about him. Yeshuji came to restore our relationship with God, Parameshwar. This is the story of his final and greatest work, the supreme sacrifice to bring us moksha. It was the annual festival of Mukti, the perfect time for the Mukti-data to break the chains of the curse, to open the way back to unity with Parameshwar. Yeshuji took 3 of his closest devotees to a garden, Gethsemane. He had always been perfectly obedient and fulfilled his duty to Pita Parameshwar. He was completely Shuddh and without sin. It was time for his final and greatest work, the great sacrifice. There in the garden, he prayed to Pita Parameshwar, asking him to not go through this terrible time of suffering. But he also knew it was the only way Parameshwar could bring mukti and moksha to all people. He prayed, "Not my will, desire, but yours." 3 times he prayed, but instead of staying awake and praying with him, his devotees fell asleep. Sadguru Yeshu knew his betrayer. One of his own 12 closest devotees was about to arrive. Suddenly the man was there, accompanied by a crowd armed with swords and clubs sent by the leaders of the local temple. The rebellious disciple addressed Yeshuji as Guru. As a signal to the crowd, he kissed Yeshuji. Instantly, they seized the Sadguru and led him forcefully away. The other devotees fled in fear, all of which had been prophesied about the Mukti-data many years before. The teachers of the law had gathered at the high priest's house where Sadguru Yeshu was taken. Many witnesses were summoned to speak against Yeshuji, but none of their testimonies appeared. Yeshuji did not argue, but stood silently. The high priest challenged him, "Are you the Mukti-data, son of the Most High God?" "I am," Yeshuji replied, "and you will see me seated at the side of Almighty God." "Blasphemy!" the high priest shouted and tore his clothes in protest. The vote was cast, and they agreed Sadguruji was guilty and deserved to die. They mocked him, hit him, spat on him. Chief Pandits then handed him over to the government leader, Pilate. Pilate had Sadguruji whipped and handed over to be crucified. The soldiers guarding him put a crown of thorns on his head, fell on their knees and mocked him, saluting him as the king. They beat him over the head. Finally, they led him to a nearby hill, forcing him to carry the heavy wooden cross. Exhausted from the beatings and the weight of the cross, Yeshuji stumbled and fell. The crucifixion site was at Skull Hill. There they nailed his hands and feet to the cross and crucified 2 robbers next to him. They tried to give him a drink of myrrh to drug him from the intense pain, but Yeshuji would not take it. It was now 9 a.m. They nailed a sign above the head, "Yeshuji the King." Many people passed by and mocked Sadguru. Sadguruji said, "Father, forgive them, for they don't know what they are doing." Even one of the two thieves mocked him, but the other realized he deserved to die, and Sadguru Yeshu didn't. He turned to Guruji saying, "Remember me, Yeshuji, when you come as king." Seeing his repentant heart, his desire to turn away from all that is wrong, Yeshuji assured him, "Today you will be with me in paradise." At noon, the sun stopped shining and the whole country fell into deep darkness for 3 hours. Sadguru Yeshu cried out to Parmeshwar, "My God, why have you abandoned me?" He was carrying all the sin of the world upon himself, willingly becoming a curse for all people in every nation, so God couldn't look on him at that moment. Then, in a loud voice, he cried out, "It is finished!" He gave up his spirit and died. At that very moment, the huge curtain in the main temple split from top to bottom. The earth shook and many rocks split in half. Seeing this, a soldier thrust a spear into Sadguru Yeshu's side. When blood and water poured out, they knew he was dead. The soldiers who crucified him exclaimed, "This man truly was the Son of God." That evening, when the body had been removed from the cross, a temple leader who hadn't wanted Yeshuji crucified asked for his body, took it, wrapped it in new white cloths, and placed the body in a newly made cave, as was the custom in that country. A stone was rolled in front of the entrance to seal it. Pilate sent a guard of soldiers there because he was afraid of what might happen. Devastated, Yeshuji's devotees left, hiding in fear of what might happen next.